What's up, everybody? Today we are going to be talking about first my diet. If you don't know who I am, I have a 50.5-inch vertical and I love dunking. This is John. He is my coach. Together we have a business where we coach athletes how to jump higher. Which, by the way, if you want to check it out, go to THPstrength.com. Now, John will ask me some questions about my diet because a lot of you guys are probably curious what that looks like day to day for me. And then from there, we're going to give you guys some recommendations on what your diet should look like if you want to jump higher.
Okay, so question number one.
Yeah.
What is the best, healthiest thing you consistently eat? And how many of those items do you eat on a regular basis?
The most healthy thing I consistently eat.
Yeah, that's a good question, huh? I thought of that off the dome.
I don't know. There isn't really. It would be my lunches. I get frozen meal sent, and they're
Factor,
pretty
use
healthy.
factor.
Yeah.
So you get a protein and a vegetable there, basically, right?
Yeah. Every day for lunch and a carb.
Okay, and a carb. Yeah, so you have a
Yeah.
balanced lunch and you eat that every day.
Yeah.
And
I
then,
drink a protein shake after every workout.
I wouldn't necessarily call that healthy, but it is important. All right. So what about you know what? It's a supplement. It's supposed to help your diet and meet your
Yeah.
macros. Do you eat a protein for dinner every day?
Usually, yeah. Yeah. Usually we cook. A lot of times it's pasta, like Italian type stuff.
And you have
Uh
protein with it?
yeah, like it'll be like lasagna or like
Like
spaghetti.
throw like ground beef in there?
Yeah. Usually
Okay,
so
so
it's
you get a little
usually
bit of
what I
ground
do.
beef in there. Okay,
Or
and
it'll
then
be like Spanish food, like rice and chicken essentially.
all right, and
Uh,
then breakfast. So
Cereal.
this brings me to the next question. Yeah. What are the bad foods that you eat at least 3 times a week? What bad foods do you eat at least three
Definitely
times?
sugary cereal. So in the morning, I'll usually eat honey bunches of oats, which I don't consider like on the continuum of how bad cereals get. It's at least for me, it's
Hold on.
a
Let
little
me
bit lower.
let me let me just pull up what the macros of that are. Can you still
Yeah.
hear me with this here? It's probably a little
Yeah,
quieter,
yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah, so we're gonna go
Um,
honey
so I eat
bunches of
that for breakfast, but then after my workouts, I usually eat like I'll drink a protein shake and then I'll eat the sugary cereal that I have.
which one are you
Um,
getting? With almonds?
yeah. Either that one or the honey roasted one.
All right, so 33 grams of carbs, good source of carbs. 9 grams of sugar, that's not bad. 2 grams of fiber, that's good. 3 grams of protein, that's not good. But you do milk, so you get a little bit more.
A lot of
16 grams
milk. A lot of
contain.
milk.
Honestly, honey bunches of oats is really not that bad. It has a lot of micronutrients because it's enriched
Yeah.
and fortified, which means like they add after the fact
That
they add
so
things. People have
I've
said that
heard
that's bad, and
food.
it's not. I want to be clear. Fortified and enriched food is actually good. You might not absorb it quite as well, but you absorb more than you would
Yeah.
if you had that cereal without it being enriched and fortified. I just want to add that.
Yeah. So I eat intuitively and I usually have a good sense for what food does to me just from how I feel. And like that cereal is a cereal like when I eat it in the morning and like I don't feel shitty afterwards. I usually can't eat a lot of it, which is a sign that's like like when they make things like addicting, like candy and like sugary
Like when they're
like
putting
sugary
crack
cereals.
cocaine in like Lucky Charms.
Yeah, like Lucky
Or like,
Charms,
what do you like?
Crave.
Count Chocula. That's your
Yeah,
favorite
yeah,
one.
like those cereals, I could body like 5 bowls in a row, no problem. You've seen me. You've seen
Hmm.
me do this on
One
FaceTime.
time, this is like the other day, I saw Isaiah without even thinking. He comes home, eats his lunch, and then just like pours his big ass bowl of cereal, bodies it, and then we're like at this point probably
Mind you,
20
their
minutes into
bowls
the conversation.
like
Yeah, it's like a goblet, a chalice, if you will. And then he just goes and gets another one without even thinking about it. It was like autopilot, just like it started pouring in. I'm like, dude, are you eating more cereal? I'm like, you just ate a whole meal. Mind you,
No,
the
you pointed it
factor
out on the 3rd one.
was it the
It
third
was
one?
Yeah, it was the 3rd one you pointed out, yeah.
No, I think it was the third. Well, either way, second or third, it doesn't matter because he
Yeah,
had eaten Factor, which has 35 grams of 20 to 25 to 30 grams of protein, probably like 30 grams of carbs and a little bit of fat in there, right? So it's like you're probably looking at a 600 calorie meal. Then he eats a big ass bowl of cereals, probably another 3 to 600 calories. Then he's like pouring his second bowl or third bowl. I don't even know at this point. And I was just like, dude, you just consumed like damn near a day's worth of calories for lunch. And he just
Yeah.
didn't even think about it and was just, I don't
Yeah.
even, it was crazy.
So
Like,
that's like
I can't
sugary
do that.
cereals
I would be
are
so fat if I did that.
like that's sugary cereals is like that. Honey Bunches of Oats, it's like one bowl, maybe two, but I can't eat a lot of it. Um, and then that's pretty much my diet. So it's like a cereal, factor, probably like an hour before I work out. I need to have food in my system before I train. Then protein shake right after a workout, bowl of cereal after that, and then dinner. It'll be
Yeah.
dinner in the evening.
For those of you that don't know, Isaiah is one of the hangriest individuals I've ever met. He just gets so
Yeah.
dysfunctional if he doesn't eat. Like if we try to train or podcast and he hasn't eaten, I'll be like, no, I don't want to do this. Go get food first. Like then we can do it because I
Yeah.
fast. So when I'm with him, like I'm not like, oh, we need to get food at these times. Like I won't eat until it's 5. But Isaiah's like, it's like 1:00 usually, and he's like, I have to eat lunch now.
I just always need food. I don't eat like my portions aren't crazy, but I'm always eating.
That's actually
um
insane.
yeah, like
But
I need food like every like 2 to 3 hours. Like it's actually a thing.
so the bad foods that you eat are cereal,
Yeah,
sugary
sugary
cereal
cereal,
specifically.
yeah.
Do you eat candy?
I I have phases. Right now, I'm like kind of out of it. I would say probably like once a week. I I eat candy or get a
How much fast
freaking
food do you eat?
uh that's like once a week on my dunk days. Like my dunk I would say like twice a week. Like twice a week I get fast food.
So today.
Yeah, today will for sure be a fast food day.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and air out some dirty laundry of some athletes that have come and stayed with me. So I've gotten to see their eating habits for like an extended period of time. I think it's time for me to expose some dunkers out there so that you guys can really see
Oh
the truth
baby.
about them. All right, so let's start with Mr. Donovan Hawkins. All right, love this kid to pieces. Talked to him yesterday. We had a good chat on the phone, but Donovan, he eats a shit ton of food. Like it is actually disturbing. We came home the other night and Donovan ate 15 Taco Bell tacos. We're talking like
I witnessed
with
it.
shell, with shell, cheese, lettuce, tomatoes, ground beef or chicken. Dude, was it 12 or 15?
I think it was 12. I think it was 12 of them.
12
12
Taco
pack.
Bell tacos. Mind you, for lunch every day, like he has a very specific eating schedule. It's actually pretty interesting. But he like wakes up. Generally, I think he eats in the morning. Like it's like maybe eggs and some sort of like protein. But when he was with me, he would just like find something to eat because obviously he didn't want to like cook in my kitchen and then have to wash everything and whatever. Like you're kind of in a new environment. But he would then have to eat a bowl of Chipotle. We're talking triple steak. Triple steak, load up the rice, load up the beans, load up all this other shit, and he would body it. And then we'd go like work out or do whatever, and he'd be like, I'm ready for my next bowl of Chipotle. And it's like, I don't know if you guys know this, but if you get triple steak and a bowl of Chipotle, it's like 1,300 calories. And he would do that twice. He was probably eating like 3,500 to 4,000 calories a day, I would guess. Because
Yeah.
then nighttime would roll around and Donovan would be like, I'm dying. I need to go to Publix right now. And he would buy he bought 2 boxes. Mind you, this was him for one day. Like he was like, oh, I can come back tomorrow. And I was like, yeah, dude, you don't have to like decide now. He bought 2 bags of like crackers, like sour cream and onion crackers. And it was like a cracker chip. He bought that. He bought Swedish, or no, it's not Swedish fish. Goldfish. Is that what they're called?
Yeah.
He bought goldfish crackers. They were also sour cream and onion. Then he bought 2 boxes of Pop Tarts and candy and a bag of candy. And he was like, I should probably put one of the bags of candy. No, I lied. It was Haribo gummies. He kept them. He's like, I should probably put. No, he got everything. I was like, maybe he put something back. He had something else that he put back. We
Yo.
walked past the donuts and he was like, oh my God, bro, donuts. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? At this point, I'm a little bit desensitized to it though, because when Dom was here, Dom was way worse, dude. And also, all these dunkers have allergies. No idea why, but like, even Isaiah is lactose intolerant. Like every dunker has some sort of food allergy. It's like all of their brain power and muscle ability and like all the tendon shit is like that comes at a cost, and it's going to be a food allergy. So Donovan's like, I think he's allergic to peanuts or something. And another story, we go to American Social, which is like a restaurant near here. Dude orders 2 meals at dinner because
Yeah,
he's
that
hungry
was
with
wild.
mac and cheese for both meal. And he's just like,
Just
doesn't
kills it.
drink,
Just kills it.
doesn't smoke, doesn't do drugs, like super like straight and narrow about that. But then when it comes to like eating, he's telling me how he loves Cane's. He sends me yesterday. It's like the Cane's combo. And I was like, maybe you should, or the Caniac combo. And I was like, maybe you should call it the cardiac combo because that thing is like the worst I've ever seen. And it was 900 calories of fat or like 800 calories of fat. But he sends me, he's like, dude, there's 88 grams of protein. And I was like, yeah, 88 grams of protein is maybe there's 4 calories per gram. So what is that? What's 4 times 80? 320 calories.
Yeah.
But there's 100 grams of fat. Well, a gram of fat is 8 calories or 9. I think it's 8 calories.
I think it's 9.
Is it 9? I think it's 9.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah, because it's not divisible by 4. And dude eats that. So it's 900 calories of fat. Fat is stored as fat when you eat it. If your carbohydrates are loaded and you eat fat, you'll store the fat as fat. Donovan is bodying that probably as like a lunch post-workout. And I was like, dude, you're better. You might as well just eat fried fat bites and have a side of mac and cheese with it because that's like what your diet basically is.
Bro, I think hearing that is a breath of fresh air. No,
Why?
I'm playing.
Because Jay Clark and Kilgannon eat like meticulously.
Yes. And then I sometimes I feel so guilty. I think I control how much I eat really well, so I don't get fat. But like, you know what that tells me is the guys that become elite are usually the guys that are like freaking ectomorph type, like just burn a shit ton of calories.
Yeah, but Donovan's pretty fucking. He's more like a mesomorph, bro. He's like Superman.
Yeah. Well, he was like skinny though.
No, he was skinnier, but he's still. I would say he was like on the cusp of being.
I would say like that body type is like, it's like the really skinny guys that can put on muscle easily are like usually really successful dunkers. Like look at like Kilgannon. He's what like 160 something right now.
No,
but
really?
but when he wants, yeah, he's in the 160s. But when he wants to, he gets up to like 190 and gets big as shit, like upper body wise and stuff. And I usually see that just like across the board with a lot of dunkers. Like it's like ectomorphs that have mesomorph muscle building abilities.
That's crazy. It's like a lean mesomorph.
Yeah.
It's like a mesomorph it looks like an ectomorph.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's one exposed athlete. Donovan Hawkins exposed. Oh, Dom. You and Donovan? Oh, Dom. I didn't get the Dom. So Dom also has a peanut allergy. So this kid can only eat at certain restaurants. He can't even eat something if it's cooked in the same area because he'll die if he's like exposed to peanuts. Mind you, I always keep peanut butter in there in case I want to murder them. No, I'm kidding. So I don't know this. And Dom every single day ate Chick-fil-A. I'm talking 3 meals. Chick-fil-A is one of the single worst fast foods. Everything is buttered. Everything is deep fried. Everything is like just so fatty and salt enriched. And Dom would eat that 3 times a day. Like he would be like, guess where I'm getting food. I'd be like, Dom, you're hungry. You know what that means? We got to go get Chick-fil-A. And he would eat like a large fry, spicy chicken sandwich. I don't know if he would get a drink or not. Maybe, I don't know. But he would eat it every time. Sometimes he'd get 2 sandwiches. And he would eat that 3 times a day. Like that was it. And I was like, dude, I called him the other day and he was eating breakfast. And I was like, oh, you're eating breakfast. It's not Chick-fil-A. And he shows me it. And it was just like fat and protein, similar to what Donovan does. And I was like, oh, nice. He's like, I'm working into it. I'm trying to eat healthier. I was like, oh my gosh. So yeah, those are some of the worst. I mean, people that eat well, I would say is Archie Padley actually ate decently well when he came and stayed with me. Like he didn't want to eat crazy bad all the time. Hunter was bad as well. We're talking like dino nuggets, and he also has crazy food allergies. But he was like Dom. He's similar to Dom with like slightly more food, but he's like gluten-free, I think, as well. So he has to eat certain things that are a little bit better. And then who else has come and stayed with me? CJ eats really well.
Yeah,
CJ eats like probably the best, I would say. What do you think?
probably. Yeah. How much? So now let's talk about the importance of diet. How much
Um,
of a role does it play in
dude, I've
performing?
seen like track guys are really meticulous about it generally, but like for dunkers, it just doesn't seem to matter that much, honestly. As long as you're not fat, it doesn't matter. Like
Yeah,
people always ask me, "Oh, what, do I want to be in a caloric surplus, caloric, deficit? Do I want to maintain all this shit?" I'm like, dude, honestly, just eat intuitively how you're gonna eat, and if you do all the volume, and Mike once told me this, he's like, it's impossible to not be lean because the volumes are so insanely high that it's literally impossible. You're probably, if you're training the maximum amount, which Isaiah and I calculated was like 15 hours a week, you're not going to end up, dude, 15 hours of your day, you're exercising at a high intensity on our training. If you're
15 hours of your week.
15 hours of your week, sorry, yeah. Like you're training at a high intensity and you're doing activities that are tearing muscle fiber, damaging all the tissues in your body that require a lot of calories to repair. And on top of that, you're getting high intensity interval training, which is intensity's king when it comes to being lean. And like, I mean, obviously there's a role for low intensity exercise and burning fat, but generally speaking, leaner athletes are ones who train at higher intensities. Like you look at all the CrossFit athletes on steroids or off, they're still super lean, and all of them, right? And that's because they have a lot of high intensity training. A lot of our athletes are lean. Why? Because there's a lot of high intensity training. And I don't think that what you eat as much is like that important as much as just getting the calories in so you have energy if you're hitting all of the workouts, because it eventually like you're just gonna feel really fatigued on the training if you're not doing that. I would
Yeah,
say when you're on some of the lower volume stuff, then it's really important. And if you have a propensity to eat really poorly where you do gain weight, even with the volume, then you have to start to watch. Like
yeah,
me personally, I was eating 3,500 calories when I was training 15 hours a week a day. And I was getting it through a lot of different, not mediums. Like I would make chili, and chili is actually pretty solid because you've got a lot of protein there. You've got a lot of vegetables if you do it right. Like if you get a bag of frozen vegetables of like green beans, corn, peas. I wouldn't even do corn because corn's just basically a starch, right? Um, it doesn't really have any micronutrients, whatever. So I would put, mixed vegetables in there, ground beef. I would drain the fat out of the ground. Oh no, wait. Yeah, I would. I would drain the fat out of the ground beef. I don't remember. I haven't made it in a while. But yeah, I would do that, and whatever you put all the seasoning in it or etc. That is like a pretty solid macronutrient profile. You've got a lot of protein in there. I would put a shit ton of ground beef, and the downside was generally the sodium is quite high. But as an athlete, if you're sweating a lot, it's not that big of a deal. Like you need sodium in your diet. So, in my case, I would actually be eating a decent like quality of food, but I ate so much of it and there was so much fat in the chili. I think I at one point realized that and started to switch out how I made it, but I was still gaining weight. And that's how I was eating. Like, again, I think I was eating like 3,800 calories when I calculated it. I was walking around at like 8% body fat. But then when I kind of cleaned that up a little bit, that's when I got down to like 7% and actually recomped. So I was eating a lot more vegetables. Like I would eat a bag of frozen vegetables a day. And then I would try to always eat two things, a vegetable and a protein every single meal. And if I did that, generally speaking, I was going to lose fat and gain muscle. And I have the DEXA data. I've mentioned this many times. And so I think, again, I was training for track at the time and I was actually worse at dunking. So it's one of those things where as a 2-foot jumper, you don't need to be that lean. Like it helps, don't get me wrong, but it's not like you need to be a track and field athlete where they're walking around at like 5% body fat all the time or most of the year, at least, specifically the men. In dunking, you'll typically see guys around the like either low double digits or like high single digits. And the outliers are going to be, the guys with crazy metabolisms, right? Like Isaiah, you probably walk around at what, like probably 7% year round, 8.
probably, yeah.
Yeah. CJ is probably around 6. Donovan, I'd say, is like maybe 9. But as you get bigger, it's harder to stay leaner. Like Donovan's really lean, but he has so much muscle mass that it's like any little bit of fat barely shows almost because he has so much muscle. Generally, if you have more
Yeah.
muscle, you're going to carry a little bit higher percentages of fat. So I'd say he's probably around 8 or 9, like visible 6-pack, super, super lean. Austin and I generally now we're like low double digits, but when we're lean, we're 7 to 8. Nico, we talked about Nico yesterday. He's like got to be like 5%. He's one of the leanest people I've ever
Yeah.
seen naturally.
Yeah.
It's insane, like insane.
And massive upper without lifting upper.
Yeah, he has like some of the best genetics for building muscle. It's actually crazy.
Yeah, like if you wanted to be a freaking IFBB pro, like
Yeah,
pump
he
them up
could.
full of roids, start lifting, and you.
So those are some of the ones I'm trying to think off the like. Dom is probably low double digits actually. Like he doesn't have like, he's not ripped to the bone, like cut like crazy. Tony is very lean, very, very, very lean. I don't know what his diet's like, but so yeah, in general, there's a big genetic component. If you do all the volume, you're going to be naturally lean. You kind of eat whatever you want. But if you want to dial it up a little bit, it makes a little bit of a difference. It makes a considerable difference if you're a 1 foot jumper. But as a 2 foot jumper, it just doesn't really seem to matter
The
all that
biggest
much.
change for me, like in terms of eating clean versus not eating as clean, is just how you feel.
Oh yeah, yeah, I
I
agree with that.
I saw a huge difference when I had the personal chef. He was like cooking, I think 2 meals a day for me earlier this year. I noticed a huge difference just eating 2 good meals per day, and I was eating out a lot before that, just in terms of how I felt energy-wise. And then I remember when it switched because I moved and then I couldn't do that anymore, and then I went back to eating out a lot, like, I just felt horrible. So that's where more so I feel it, but I didn't
Were you
performance-wise,
jumping higher or lower?
it's like the same, I didn't see it. There's so many other variables too that, like, if you have an amazing diet, but then you're not training hard, like, probably not gonna do shit.
What about the idea that your diet is related to your tendon health? How do you feel about that?
Ooh,
I think
I
it's
think
bullshit.
there might be something to it. At this point, I've seen so many people, like, have an experience with that, and then I think watching all the Keith Barr videos makes me feel like there might be something to it as well.
But even that's not the mechanism of pain. Like my brother sent me a study I have to read today, but your diet is not the mechanism of pain or
Yeah,
like how much collagen you take in. That doesn't change whether you feel pain because pain is with sensory motor neurons. So it's basically like your sensory nerves
yeah,
and those are in the tendon and that's why you feel pain. So like whether you eat protein or you eat collagen or you eat vegetables, you're still going to feel
the pain.
the pain, right? And some people are like, well, it's inflammation. And inflammation isn't necessarily the driver of like pain or not having pain.
You could
Like
make an
inflammation
argument.
is like a response to damage.
Yeah.
like
You
or
could make
like
an argument though that
yeah.
it might be correlated to, like, tears, like tearing your tendon because
Yeah,
it's the
yeah,
structure.
I think that yeah, like you could maybe say that like you have worse connective tissue if you're not taking in the right micronutrients, I guess. I mean, technically,
Yeah.
I don't even know if collagen's a micronutrient. I guess it's like made up of amino acids. So yeah, or I guess it's technically a macronutrient. It's technically a protein. So
Yeah.
I don't know. But last thing was the guide. I kind of want to do this a different day because we're already 23
Yeah,
minutes in.
yeah. I think this is pretty
Yeah,
good spot
this is good.
to end
All
it.
right, cool.
Yeah.
Well, I hope that you guys enjoyed this. If you're interested in getting coached by us, go to THPstrength.com and we will see you on Monday. Hopefully you guys are enjoying your regular programming back.
Podcast.
Yeah. All right. See you guys.
We're back to regular scheduled programming.
There we go. That's what I was
By the way, how we're organizing it is
No, don't tell them. Keep it a secret. See if anyone notices.
okay.
All right. Perfect. All right. See you guys.